Time to cash out. Maybe cons kill people without looking them in the face. But I need to think. Dig. You've made your last delivery, kid. Sorry you got twisted up in this scene. From where you're kneeling, it must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start. We are now recording.
How cool. I'm just now realizing that as soon as you started recording, my bathroom light is on. So I'm immediately going to have to get up as soon as you start recording and go turn that off. One moment.
What a way to begin.
Oh, wait. Why don't I get it. As of making this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we will make our intro in just one moment. I just like quick side note, beep, you know, all that. Jack, we never uploaded a starting skit for our first episode. I just said a curse word. Wow, this is off to a great start.
I'll bleep that one out.
Alright.
we gotta
Whatever.
we gotta do a starting skit for this one.
Dag nabbit. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, podcast listeners, is your fellow podcaster, Talan.
And Jack.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready.
Oh wow.
Oh man. What a beginning to this episode.
This is we're keeping this, by the way.
We have achieved
awesome.
greatness.
2 episodes in. Well, like 12. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the J&T podcast, episode 2. We have some highlighted topics that we will be talking about. You will have to bear with me personally. Oh, what did I do? You'll have to bear with me personally. I am a little tired. I have worked 5 days in a row at work, and I'm exhausted. Thankfully, the first topic we are going to be talking about, highlighted topics, is something Jack is way more familiar with than me. Thankfully. So Jack will kind of lead that. I'll butt in anywhere I can find myself to be able to. And yeah, so something we want to touch, and this was actually something that we thought about talking before the podcast started. We were actually kind of talking about it before. Is the Megadeth and Metallica rivalry. Jack, take it away.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't really call it a rivalry, just kind of like, at the beginning, it like kind of felt that way because, for those of you who don't know, Dave Mustaine, the founder of Megadeth, he started out as one of the members of Metallica, and actually wrote...
I always thought so.
Yeah, he wrote a lot of the music for their first album, Kill 'Em All. But he was fired from the band. It was right around when that album released because of his severe drug and alcohol addictions. So he essentially just made Megadeth as a kind of screw you to Metallica because they kicked him out. But in recent years or I guess it's not recent anymore, but a while ago he sobered up and became a better person, and Megadeth and Metallica are now on very good terms. So kind of started out, I guess it's a kind of rivalry because of why he initially made the band, but yeah.
I actually didn't know this. I always kind of suspected, just because the band Megadeth seems very metallic-y, if that makes sense. I don't know how to describe it. I think it's probably just the voice, to be honest.
They're two of the biggest thrash metal bands, so yeah, same type of metal.
That is true. But what was his role in Metallica? What did he do?
I I want to say lead guitar, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay.
Because
Um,
a lot of the riffs you hear on Kill 'Em All, you can hear like similar riffs in some of Megadeth's earlier albums as well.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good to know. Actually, I didn't know a lot of this. Jack, which do you prefer, Metallica or Megadeth?
Oh man, that's a hard one because I love both of them almost equally, I'd say. But I think at the end of the day, it would have to be Metallica
Mm, okay.
because with Megadeth, I like pretty much three of their albums. Peace Sells, um, whatchamacallit, the one with the blue cover. I don't know why I'm blanking on the name, with the alien.
It's okay.
And then
It's okay.
Symphony of Destruction. So, and then with
Classic album.
yeah, but I'd say the big thing that makes Metallica my I like them better just because I like more of their albums.
Okay, I understand that. And surprisingly, see, I kind of like Metallica. They're not like my favorite band of all time, but they're a classic. You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah, like
But
OG.
like, the my like biggest like pushback from them is I cannot stand Lars as a drummer. He is seriously such a horrible drummer. It's so unreal. I believe we talked about in our first episode um about how freaking awesome of a dude and a drummer Taylor Hawkins was and Dave Grohl. And then this episode is like the exact opposite because Lars sucks. He's a horrible drummer.
Yeah, I'd say main reason nothing has come out of that is because he's the founder of Metallica and they're not gonna kick him
Oh,
out.
that's true, isn't it?
Yeah, he was yeah, one who originally formed it and brought it together, so ain't no way they're kicking him out, but
It's unfortunate. I mean, to give him credit where credit is due, he's gotten a little bit better. Actually, a lot better, honestly. I just have problems with his he's not very creative, you know.
yeah, and that is my one main gripe about the early Metallica albums because like some of the most iconic guitar riffs of all time, but the drums, man, like
Yeah,
subpar. It's just nothing in comparison to that classic guitar.
right. Hey, have you ever heard Lux Eterna?
Oh yeah, on their new album.
I kind of like it. Lars's drumming is much better in that. Excuse me. Um, but it's like I said, it's nothing like special,
Yeah, there are
you know.
just so many other better drummers, and
I
for
feel
yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just gonna say I feel bad saying that he's a horrible drummer because I'm not even good at guitar, so I have no place to judge. He's way better than me in any type of skill, but still at the same time, it's pretty bad.
yeah.
Um, anyways, also quick notes that I've been just thinking about in this episode. My girlfriend is actually in the Discord call. She won't be talking, but she's currently setting up our music. Our music queue, but I'm the only one really listening to it right now because we got copyright struck on our first episode. Yay! There is a lot already. So much to unpack just in these first two episodes alone. Like I could make an episode talking about last episode, to be honest. But I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Also, as you guys probably got from the last episode, the audio was absolute garbage, so didn't want to repeat
It's
of
gonna
that.
be much better this time.
Yeah,
Jack,
we think we figured it out, so we should be
yeah.
good.
Jack, our amazing editor, please. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack. He edited that video, and I'm not upset with him. To be honest, I just kind of laughed it off. But he fixed it this time. So, thank you, Jack. Uh, but, uh, you know, real quick though, I do want to actually touch back on our first episode because I think it was a big point for us. You know, Jack, actually, I am really happy with how that first episode turned out, despite the errors, the audio errors. Um, there was a couple things we had to bleep out just for reasons, and the fact we forgot our opening skit, but it
Yeah,
was
but
a really good episode, and it was one of the most. It was it was most fun in my opinion to record, other than the multiplayer showdown. That was amazing. I
that
loved recording that one. That is one of my favorite episodes,
hands
even though
down.
it's not in this format that I enjoy so much. Me and Jack put so much work into that episode, and I'm very proud of it, and I think it's one of our most viewed, and that's awesome. That feels so good because that episode was amazing.
Yeah, that is by far one of our best ones. But with this new format, I think we could easily start consistently making better episodes than that, which is honestly really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do like something like an ultimate multiplayer showdown, but sorry. But we can do it in this format, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think
You
overall
know,
this format, the flow of it just works so much better for the style of content we wanted to make.
absolutely.
So it just feels so much better.
The only thing about that though is if we were to make like another ultimate um multiplayer showdown, I think it would have to be formatted so we're not jumping all over the place.
Definitely more structured than we are this episode.
Yeah, because we just went from a top 10 of all time intro to um, to Metallica and Megadeth back to podcast stuff.
Yeah,
Like that's already all over the place. And to be honest, that is what I love about recording these episodes. It's the fact that it is just us talking. It's us spewing our brain out into the world the way me and Jack would. Sometimes, actually, often we fall back as if we're talking to the. But as we keep going into the episode, me and Jack just end up talking about stuff. But we still want to engage with you. That's why we do it. But we don't want to do that too much just because we want it to make it seem natural, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Um, Anyways, another highlighted thing we wanted to talk about, and we only highlight these because we will forget them, is we briefly touched on Kurt Cobain or Nirvana. Actually, we'll be talking about both this episode. Um, Jack, do you want to start that off? Actually,
Yeah, where do we want to start with that?
I think we should start kind of like conspiracy around Kurt Cobain. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
All right. Um, so I probably don't need to explain it too much since it's one of the most widely known conspiracies ever. But like for people who don't know, um, some people believe that Kurt Cobain actually didn't kill himself, but he was like killed by his wife or whatever her name was, Courtney Love, and
Yes.
that she like hired someone to make it look like a suicide. Isn't that what
Yes.
people believe? I
I
think.
I believe so. I kind of watched the documentary. What was it called? God, I don't remember what it was called.
Is there like a documentary on it?
Yeah, and it was really cool because the actor who played Courtney Love looked identical to her. It was really weird. Anyways, that's basically the whole idea about it. Just to go into a bit more detail, Kurt Cobain. Of course, I don't know the date. To be honest, we should have researched this, but it's okay. We're just gonna pull from knowledge that we have. because that is how this works as of now. I'm changing the rules. Screw you guys. He was found dead in a house. I don't remember whose house. I think it was a friend's, but I don't know if that's correct. With a shotgun in his dead body's hand and his face blown off. So pretty messed up. And you know, most people who would have come across that scene would think, "Oh my gosh, that's a suicide," you know, because he had the shotgun in his hand. But there's a lot of reasons why people thought that it was manslaughter. And the reason why the way the gun was angled, I believe, would have made it extremely difficult for Kurt Cobain to be able to commit suicide by pulling the trigger. Also, during his autopsy, he was filled with a bunch of drugs. I don't, of course, didn't do research. For a long time, maybe 2 years ago, I was really big about this. That was 2 years ago, so I don't remember. But he was found with a bunch of drugs that he had done that would have been enough to, I think, kill a horse or like 3. So by that point, he would have, allegedly, by that point, when he would have killed himself with the shotgun, he would have already been dead by the drugs. So people think that Courtney Love hired somebody, maybe the people he was with, to kill him, like drug him, and then make it look like a suicide. There's a number of other reasons why people think this. I didn't really provide any proof, but some proof that could go to this is the fact that Courtney Love is still, what's the word? Is still profiting off of Nirvana's she got the rights to Nirvana, therefore
Isn't
allowing her.
Isn't it like
What's up?
shared with Dave Grohl and
It is.
Novoselic?
It is. I forgot about that. But originally, there was actually a lawsuit because of that. Because I think for a tiny bit there, she did actually own the rights. She just ended up getting sued by Dave Grohl and Novoselic. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know. That dude's got a weird name, but she ended up being sued by them because they also wanted rights to the band, which obviously they were a part of the band. But that was also the fact that she was, she immediately took revenue and all that from the band. It seems a little suspicious. Among that, she's still profiting to this day.
She will always be profiting off of them. They'll.
Yes.
It's just such a popular band.
Yes.
It's insane.
She also had a handwriting book. I don't know how to describe that. A book where she would like copy people's handwritings. And Kurt Cobain, when he died, had a suicide note. And I don't remember what it reads. I've read it myself. I remember being really upset about it. But the whole thing around that, as well, is the fact that he was never. I mean, I don't want to say he was never suicidal because he had his issues, but he was never. I don't know how to word it. He was more reckless, I guess, sort of. I mean, the reason why a lot of other people do believe that it was manslaughter is because of the fact that even though he was suicidal, if it was manslaughter, or if it was a suicide, people would believe it. That's why they think it's manslaughter. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm kind of describing that very badly. What I'm trying to say is it was believable. Him killing himself was believable because he was already sort of in and out of the hospital frequently. He did a lot of heroin. I think he even got like so drunk at one point he passed out on stage, I think. Or I could be mixing up a story. Don't know. I think I'm mixing it up with the story where before he played on stage, he overdosed. I think that's what I'm doing. But there's a lot of things around it, you know.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Anyways, but to this day, Kurt Cobain's death is still shrouded in just tons of mystery. And we obviously didn't do this topic too much justice. To be honest, it deserves almost a full podcast episode itself. This is just something we wanted to touch on, just to kind of keep you engaged, to keep viewers engaged. But it's interesting. This band changed music. Before Nirvana, there was Guns N' Roses. You know, that was like the biggest band at the time before Nirvana, I believe. And that it's actually funny because Nirvana and Guns N' Roses actually have a feud. And as a Nirvana, I kind of agree with Nirvana, though it's obvious that Kurt Cobain was kind of being a jerk in the whole situation.
I mean, to be fair, from my very basic understanding of their feud, it was also kind of Axl Rose just being butthurt. Just from what I understand about it.
Yeah, I think it all started because I don't know which song or music video, but MTV released a music video of Guns N' Roses' latest song where Axl Rose was wearing a Nirvana shirt or hat. I think it was a hat. And that just upset Kurt because Kurt knew that Axl Rose didn't really care about the band. Axl Rose just wanted to stay relevant. And so Axl and Kurt had a lot of issues when Kurt called him out on that. I don't like Axl Rose, and that's not just because of the feud. I just think always thought he was a jerk.
He's kind of a scummy guy. Like he's not great.
He's up there. I hate to say it, but he's up there with Eddie Vedder with like biggest music jerks of all time.
Did you just say Eddie Vedder?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Nah.
Eddie Vedder's a jerk.
Wait, where are you getting that from? I've never heard that.
Eddie Vedder is an a-hole.
Dude, I've heard he's like a chill guy.
Common knowledge.
I've heard he's a chill guy, bro. What? I'm so confused.
I've heard that he's a jerk. Him and Scott Stapp from Creed.
Really?
Both of them also sound very similar. They go, "Oh yeah," in their songs. I'm not too fond of. For those of you who don't know, I just realized that some people might not know. Eddie Vedder is the lead singer of
Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam. Thank you. I love Pearl Jam. Admittedly, he's a horrible singer. There's this song called Yellow Ledbetter by Pearl Jam. I don't know what the song is about because you actually cannot understand what he's saying. He's all like...
No way. You're screwing with me. That is such a good song. What? Hold on.
No. It's an amazing song. I'm actually not even going to lie. I actually love the song. I just don't understand what he's saying. at all. I absolutely love Yellow Ledbetter. Sorry, I don't mean to be. I hope it doesn't seem like I'm dissing it. I'm dissing Eddie more than I'm dissing Pearl Jam. I love Pearl Jam. Yellow Ledbetter's fantastic song. I just can't understand the word he's saying in that song.
Wait, also like to backtrack a little. I'd always heard like online and stuff that Eddie Vedder was a chill guy. Like,
Maybe he is. I don't know. I've heard from my parents. Me and my parents. That's like the only conversations I have with them is. And I just heard how much of a jerk.
your mic cut out there.
Oh, is it bad? Like, did it cut out really bad?
Yeah, that was a pretty bad cutout.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I can fix. Technical difficulties on live. No, don't switch. Did that work?
Yeah, now you're sounding better.
Just heard about how much of a jerk he is. So maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but it just seemed like he was a jerk. I don't have any examples because I feel like now I just turned off my.
No, honestly, you could be right. I am not the most educated on the subject. I've just always heard differently, but I don't know.
Right. So maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, overall,
Anyways.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care. I'll just listen to their music either way. Like whether he's
Same.
same way. Like I like Guns N' Roses and I listen to their stuff. I despise Axl Rose, but they have good music.
Yeah, he's not a good dude. Anyways, I actually want to go back to Yellow Ledbetter real quick. Just because I didn't realize I caught you off guard. Jack, I promise you I love that song.
No, I thought you were dissing it, and I was like, no.
No. You have to admit, can you actually understand anything he's saying?
Okay, in that song, I'll admit, no, I can't understand a single thing he says.
He's all like, I don't even know how, like, whatever. But, like, even in, what's that song that starts with freezing? Is it on a pillow made of concrete?
Even Flow. Love that song.
Was it Even Flow? Right.
Even
I don't know what he says in that song either. Do you know what he says after Even Flow?
It's it's something aligns like butterflies.
He's like,
No, it's like even flow. Paths align like butterflies. Or something like that. I don't know.
Okay, I guess so. I don't know. No idea. No,
in most of his songs, you can't hear a damn thing he's saying.
That and Scott Stapp's kind of a jerk. You know who Scott Stapp is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. They're both very similar people. They're basically the same person in my book. They sound so identical, but weirdly enough, I really like. Oh my gosh, what is that song called? Why am I forgetting that song? It's like Brother is the most popular song by him. What is it? I'm gonna have to honestly open up my Spotify and look. Hold on. Bear with me, because this is just gonna drive me nuts all episode. My laptop's very slow. Creed. I said Creed. Okay, thanks for nothing. With arms wide open under the sunlight. Yeah, I love that song. I've been told I look like Scott Stapp. That was a running joke for like a very good portion of the summer last year, and even going into sophomore year.
Really?
Yes. And I don't. Malia's actually listening, so I can ask her this. Malia, do you have that image that our friend made of me on my birthday of Scott Snap. I'll see if Jack can pull it up.
I'll
If you can send it in.
I'll edit it in on the recording.
If she can find it, okay. But, okay, we deviated severely.
to say the least.
Yes, that's okay though. That's okay. But now my mind is completely scrambled right now. She says she's finding it. If she can. If she can't, that's okay. Brief intermission.
All right.
Intermission over.
All right. Intermission over now. I just started talking. I just started talking in the middle of the intermission, y'all. So, no. But what I was gonna say was just like interesting fact. The same day Kurt Cobain killed himself, or didn't, back in 1994, 8 years later, on the exact same day, was the day Lane Staley died in 2002.
Who's Lane Staley?
Lead singer of Alice in Chains.
Why did I not know that? I'm the music guy, dang it.
No, but just same day, just 8 years apart, which I always thought was kind of creepy.
How old was he?
Man, he wasn't old.
Was he also 27?
I don't think he was, but he couldn't have been much older than that.
Dude, the 27 Club is so weird. That's something I actually do want to talk about, but do research on.
Yeah, that's an entire rabbit hole right there.
Yeah, it is. My gosh, that is I don't even know everybody on it. Was Prince? No, it wasn't. It was some... I'm trying to think of somebody else who was on it that I know. I don't know. Whatever. That's a whole different...
We'll get into that at a different point.
Yeah. Anyways. Let's bring it back real quick. We wanted to talk about grunge. So, there was a feud between Nirvana and Guns N' Roses for a lot of reasons. Nirvana pushed a lot of bands out of the way that were popular. One of the most prominent being Guns N' Roses, which of course, as we, hiccups, mentioned, led to their feud. Regardless, though, because they... gosh, I am really strong. Like I said, I am exhausted. I truly apologize. It led to this new genre called grunge. Grunge is a form of... It's like a harder version of punk. Like Green Day, but with way more edge. If that makes sense. That's how I like to compare it. And they pushed a lot of bands out of the way, and grunge became the new thing. And grunge was started, honestly, because of Kurt Cobain. Of course, there was other bands that ended up joining, Alice in Chains actually being one of them, along with, funny enough, Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, probably next third or second compared to Pink Floyd. Absolutely love Stone Temple Pilots.
They have really good music.
Yes, they have fantastic music. Have you heard the acoustic version of Plush?
Oh, I love that one. That's probably better than the original.
Song. It is. I love acoustic rock. Amazing genre of music. Anyways, so Nirvana's effect on music was very significant. And at that time, you know, it looked at grunge was going to stay for a long time. My prediction, if Kurt Cobain never died, and kept going, it would have, I believe that grunge would have lasted until, I don't know, maybe 2010, to be honest. I really think it would have lasted a long time because the love people had for it. Kurt Cobain was a very real and raw songwriter. He was an amazing lyricist. I think that would be the right term. He was amazing with his work. He wrote poetry, and nothing like roses are red, violets are blue. Nothing like that. He wrote poetry the way it always was supposed to be. His stuff never followed rules. Maybe they rhymed, maybe they had a theme, but that's it. His poetry was cathartic. That's not how you pronounce that, is that? I'm trying to figure out the word. Maybe it is. I don't know. But his music and his pure poetry and his ability to...
Your mic cut out.
Oh no. Ah, how bad. Wow. Hold on. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, now we're good.
Okay. His poetry, like I said, didn't follow any rules that poetry is supposed to have. Which, by the way, is the stupidest thing. Me and Jack are both in high school, junior year. Is that okay if I say that, or are we gonna have to bleep that out?
No, that's wide enough.
Okay. We did... Actually, you might be in a higher level English than me. But, we both did... At least I did a poetry unit in English. Stupidest unit ever. Because poetry should not have rules. At all. It can have maybe a template. That makes sense. But following rules for poetry is stupid. Write your own stuff. You know what? This is American people out there listening. Our 3 viewers. Okay? Write something. Genuinely write something for a minute. Sit down and put something down on paper. Just for a minute. Maybe you can make something out of that. Maybe you can make a song, maybe you can make a book, or maybe you can just make a journal where you can put your thoughts down. But genuinely do it. Because you know what? That is poetry. Poetry is not this stupid rhyming scheme, not this haiku. Poetry is what you put your heart and soul into. Poetry is what you feel from your soul, what you feel most. That is poetry. Books are poetry. Poetry isn't what they teach you in school. Poetry is your soul. It is your soul in paper form, or as close as you can get it, especially if you put time into it. You don't even have to think when writing poetry. You can just write. That's all poetry is, and that's beautiful. Poetry and music are one in one. The only thing music has is singing, couple instruments, and people who will listen. Poetry is amazing. It is beautiful. It is genuinely beautiful. But you know what? It was my least favorite unit in English. Why? Because they don't teach you. They don't teach you what I'm saying to you right now. Jack, they don't teach you what I'm saying to you now. Malia, they don't teach you what I'm saying to you either. They don't teach you that poetry is what you put your heart and soul into. They teach you that poetry is rhyming a haiku, a compound poem. That's, yes, poetry in its definition form. But poetry cannot be defined. That's all I have to say.
Man, I honestly could not have put it better myself. Yeah, you've put it perfectly. Poetry isn't something that should be defined, pretty much.
It can't be. And me saying what it just was still doesn't even go to the level of what it actually is. Because you can't define it. You really can't. Just like you can't think what another person is thinking. Just like how you can't predict, I don't know, of the movement of something. You can't, you just can't. It'll never have a definition because it will change. Because you will change. People will change. Since everybody is so different, then that means so is poetry. Because we, in a sense, are poetry. Our thoughts, our everyday thoughts is poetic. If you ever listen to music, and like really listen to music, and music is poetry. If you ever actually listen to music, sit down in your room one day, put on some headphones or earbuds, or play it out in the open, grab your record player, grab your Walkman, I don't care. Listen to some freaking music. Listen to a song you've never listened to. Listen to one of your favorite songs. Close your eyes. That's all you gotta do. Close your eyes. What do you see? Me personally, you know that scene from Ratatouille where when he eats a grape, not a grape, a strawberry, then cheese, and then combines it, it's like a fireworks. That's very similar to what I feel when I listen to music. You can, like me, who, maybe it's a little irritating to a lot of people, and admittedly, I find myself irritating as well. You can break down music, which is okay. Sometimes it's fun to break down music and understand. But even just listening to music and letting it hearing you feel that beat, okay? Just that, it'll invoke something. And then maybe if you Yellow Ledbetter is playing. Sorry.
No way. No way, man.
But much like I just said, listen to that beat, you'll feel something in a literal sense or a metaphorical sense. And then listen to what that person is telling you. Listen to what that artist is telling you. What is he telling you? And then what does it tell you? What is your interpretation of that song? And that's poetry. What you just experienced was poetry. And then you'll start to think deeper. Your next thought that you'll have is poetry. Maybe your next thought is something as simple as, I need to get my phone out of my pocket. Or, what was that movement over there? Oh, it was my cat. That's poetry. Because it was a thought you had. And then you can think, whoa, my brain just thought that. Why? That thought, very poetic. It's got really cool layers to it. Anyways, that's my rant. I don't remember what I was talking about. I feel like that was good, But yeah. I need to go get some water. I will be right back. Okay. Sorry, Jack. I totally did not mean to leave you in the dust. We can edit out some of that. Anyways, I think, Jack, we'll save our last pinpoint for next time. Just because it would be very out of place with how this episode has gone.
Definitely. This has been a more music-focused episode, and I think that's perfect and all right. But yeah.
So, do you have anything more to say then? To talk about?
No, I think we nailed it with this one.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we'll call this an episode. Have it up by tomorrow, or maybe in more than 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, one thing I do want to add. I don't know if I said this or not. We are currently trying to get on Spotify, so we will add that into the description of this episode that you are watching. If we have it, it will only be a 14-day free trial. But eventually, if you would like to hear more episodes, such as this one, we would really, really appreciate it if you told your friends, if you shared around, let people know. Because if you can't tell, music is very, very, very important to me, along with poetry. I just can't stand that you English. But I can't say it because they don't teach you right. Regardless, I already had that right. Please share. I know my brother gained at least 2 or 3 people. Very cool. For those new viewers that are listening, my brother posting a little short. Please tell more people. Please. We would really appreciate it. Not because we want to get huge, but because we want you to listen. I want people to hear us. I want to talk with you. I would love that. I'd love to start a community. So please, do share, subscribe while you're at it, like. Don't know what liking does, to be honest, but go ahead and do it. That seems pretty cool. And be sure to share it. And I think that I'll conclude it. I just spilled my water.
Yeah.
Alright.
But thank you all so much for watching. Like I said earlier, we appreciate it greatly.
And I'll conclude it then.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you for listening.
until next time.
See ya.